Years ago, when I was 8, my family lived in this big, weird house on the edge of a small town. At the time, the local school district was in the middle of a massive restructuring. Even though my brother and I were only a couple of grades apart, we ended up going to different schools and taking different buses. This meant that every morning, I was the last one to leave the house, and every afternoon, I was the first one to get home. It became my job to make sure all the lights were off and the front door was locked before I left. One morning, as I was doing my usual routine, I noticed the basement door was open and the light was on. Before heading out, I turned off the light, closed the door, and didn't think much of it. But that afternoon when I got home, the basement light was back on and the door was wide open again. I just figured I must have forgotten to actually take care of it earlier. So I walked over, planning to shut it all down for real this time. But when I got to the top of the stairs and looked down, I froze. There, standing near the bottom of the basement steps, was a large, shadowy male figure. I panicked, slammed the door shut, shoved a bunch of boxes in front of it, and ran to my bedroom, where I hid in my closet, heart pounding in my ears. I didn't tell anyone. For months, I kept it to myself, because I was absolutely convinced that what I had seen was a ghost. And I knew no one would believe me. Fast forward a year. My mom and her boyfriend started noticing that small amounts of money had been disappearing. Nothing huge, $40 here, $20 there, but over time, it added up to nearly $900. One night, we all walked through the house with flashlights, trying to figure out how someone could have possibly gotten inside. That's when we found it. There was a small hole in the outside wall of the house, just big enough for a person to squeeze through. It led into a narrow crawl space, and from there straight into the basement. Some creep had been shimmying into our home through that tiny opening and sneaking up from the basement. And realizing that I had been alone in the house with him, that I had looked him in the eye thinking he was something supernatural, was the most terrifying moment of my life.